So I want to do an introduction and say, Mo, thank you for coming today. Mo's been here for a little bit, maybe a month or so. He's been looking for maybe 6 months. By the way, Mo is a veteran as well as Laura is. I don't know what other veterans we have here. And if you don't know this and you are a veteran, um, LinkedIn gives you LinkedIn Premium for 1 year. And if you need that link, I'll send it to any of you guys. So, all right, Mo, it's all you. Thank you for coming today and love to share your story.
Yes, actually, I've been looking for over a year. Um, it's been a year and a month, almost to the day. Officially retired at the end of February from federal law enforcement, but I started my job search about 4 months before, well, I guess, about 4 months before I retired. And needless to say, the jobs have been slim pickings. It's been a long ride. I've had some great interviews that whole time and been number two, always that number two guy uh, in the selection process. And Hey Don, like you, like last week, I got a wonderful rejection call, and that's it breaks your heart, especially if you kind of liked what the position was. And so This job I got is the executive assistant to the Canon of the Ordinary for the Episcopal Diocese of Utah. It's a long title. Um, but what that basically means, I'm just the executive assistant to the number two priest in the Episcopal Diocese. Um, so helping to keep his projects organized, keep him on track, doing all kind of a lot of the things that I did as an assistant attaché at the U.S. embassies in Morocco and in the UK. Um, but not less law enforcement and less diplomacy, which was just still good. Um, it's a lot of fun to help manage other people and other people's projects and make sure that they shine. And I get to be in the background doing all the running around uh, and while they get to fulfill whatever their mission is. Um, but yeah, I think the hardest part was staying positive for over a year. Um, the funny part was with this job, I actually applied for a different position within the diocese. It was actually the executive assistant to the bishop. Um, they had sent the advertisement was out for a long time, and I didn't know that I wanted to be that close to the flagpole of all the way up at the bishop's level. Especially since I'm in the process to become a priest. I didn't know that I wanted to be that real close. I mean, the Episcopal bishop is amazing. She's a great person. Um, but I didn't know if I wanted to be that close. Yeah, but I met her and I was like, yeah, I could work for her. But then I got the phone call. It was like, yeah, we decided to go with someone else. And I felt that pang of hurt because they didn't even interview for it. But then in the same call, the person that called would ended up would would end up eventually being my going to be my boss. He said, "But hey, would you think about maybe being my assistant, executive assistant?" And I said, Sure, I'd love to interview for that." And so he said, "Well, we'll set up some interviews, maybe in the next week or two." And I thought, okay, here it comes. Maybe this will happen. And I got a call the next week, and they said they had about three or four people they wanted to interview, and he said, "When can you come in?" I'm like, "I'm free right now. When do you want me to come in?" What do you want? And so I went in the following morning. It was supposed to be a half-hour interview. Um, and it's one of those things you want to respect their time, but you also want to give them the time that they want to ask you the questions, and keep the conversation going if they want to keep the conversation going. And they did. It went on for an hour and a half. Um, uh, it was, I think what was interesting in that kind of conversation was, um, they were kind of trying to suss out why I would want this position. Um, the one question they said was, "Well, you're overqualified for this position, um, and why would I want this kind of job?" And my answer was, "Well, I've done government and I've done these things." I said, "But I want to do something that's meaningful to me. I want to have, to do a job that's impacting people." And I've wanted to stay in public service type of, you know, uh, professions. Either it's going to be serving the underserved or it's going to be serving somebody. So, um, you know, working with you and what projects you've got going on are, it's down my alley. And and so they talked about some things about databases, and I'm like, oh, okay, what software are you using? So I showed interest in what software they were using, what challenges they were facing with the software. Um, what was their distribution? How wide was it what was the distribution of that software? What were they hoping to get out of it? So the conversation kept going for, like I said, an hour and a half. And in the end, they were like, okay, great. uh, I left feeling really good. Um, but I still, after a year and a month of, having come out of interviews feeling good, I still had that doubt, that I was going to get the call, and it was going to be that same kind of rejection thing. And I got a call the following Tuesday, and it started with, uh, this, the guy I was going to be working for. He said, "Well," and I just shook my head. I'm like, "Oh, here it comes." And he said, "Well, we interviewed the other people, and we all want you." And that was fine. I was like, ah, it felt great. Um, but yeah, I think that was the it was a good feeling. But I think one of the things I took from it was that staying positive, and not carrying the negativity into the interview. Because, I mean, I think, especially being here for the past couple months, and I've heard your stories, um, and your challenges, and it, it's nice to know I wasn't alone in that feeling of, another application, another interview, and another rejection letter or a rejection call. But we still are keeping going, right? And but keeping that positivity and carrying it into the interview, and still being excited, even though you may not ever get that job. Trying to find a way to show interest in this business or company or office that you haven't started to work for yet, but you want to show them that you can fit in, and this is a place that, you definitely want me there, kind of thing. So it's been good for me to see you all, each week, and hear again, like I said, your stories, and glean that little bit of inspiration, and know that I could keep going. So thank you all for the time that I got to spend with you. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of, I guess, my story. I don't know if anybody had any questions or
Okay, I'll
any
match people.
comments.
I'll match people up with you as I normally do. So first
Yeah.
up is Desiree. What questions do you have, Desiree? Oops, I put unmute and then so I muted you. Sorry.
No worries. And what a pleasure to be the first one to congratulate you. We're all kind of in the same, most of us are in the same boat at this for a long time. So way to go. That's exciting. We're really excited for you. I guess the biggest question that I had as I was listening to your details around this new opportunity, and maybe this is an odd question, but by taking this role, were there any sacrifices personally or work related in order to take this position? Just for example, is it going to be require you to be more flexible about your time, be more available about your time?
Yeah, so it's definitely not a 100% 9 to 5 job. Um, working for the church. I mean, it's especially at that level because my boss will be traveling a lot. We're traveling a decent amount of time, and there's a lot of event planning. So, um, so yeah, some of my weekends will be tied up with his events and with the larger Episcopal churches events. Um, I know of at least one major event a year that I am pretty much going to be tied up for a month just in extra planning sessions and that kind of stuff. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, yeah, it kind of takes me back to when I was doing the assistant attaché work, which, it's the same thing. You just have to go with the flow. So yeah, you do end up you lose your weekend time, but you kind of gain it back in other areas. I certainly pay wise, but pay wasn't the big focus for me. It's important, so don't get me wrong. I mean, um, there was a minimum threshold kind of thing for pay to make it so that I could survive. Um, but yeah, I think the bigger sacrifice piece is the timing because it also impacts some of my other extracurricular things. Like I sing in my own church's, my own congregation's choir, and they meet at 5 o'clock, 5:30 on a Wednesday. And I now will be driving to Salt Lake and coming from Ogden, and will I be able to do that? Probably not. So, I might have to find other arrangements to participate in that. Um, but these are relatively minor, I'd say sacrifices for me, but then of course it remains to be seen. We'll see if he makes me go get his dry cleaning. We joked about that. We joked about it. I don't think he will, but I'm probably just going to do it a couple times because his husband just say, "Ha."
Right?
I'll get his
Dramatically.
husband's dry cleaning once just for kick.
Well, again, that's exciting. And again, because you've been out for a year, which that's major way to stick at it. And again, congratulations. Just super excited for you.
Thanks, Desiree.
Okay. Next up is Jason Green. By the way, you will randomly be pulled.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, Jason.
The question I had that is not, maybe not work related, but I was curious why you were leery about taking the job with the the main bishop as opposed to the sorry, there's a cat that's just bugging me down here. All right.
Yeah,
The
my cats are locked
cat's saying,
outside.
"Don't ask the question, Jason. Don't ask the question."
It's kind of funny. Yeah. Partly I guess because
And you
in
said
going
it
through
was because you were looking to become a priest as well.
yeah, so in that process, sometimes I just my initial concerns were if I'm too close to the decision makers, will it have a negative impact on my own process? Um,
Oh, so she would be deciding whether or not you would
She
get
she would
approved.
she has a voice, yeah, absolutely. And it was completely the thing is it was a completely irrational concern,
Concern.
and I think some of that stems from this idea of I know I can do it, and I feel in this case for the priesthood thing, I feel called to this particular thing, but but you apply for something, and especially with this a year-long process of applying for jobs and getting that rejection phone call, right? Because we know we're qualified, we know we can do something, but we're we get that rejection call anyway.
Right.
So you get,
And it
I think
has
getting a
that emotional effect no matter what.
yeah, I think absolutely. And so um, what changed it for me is I actually got to spend a little bit of time with the bishop after we have an annual convention, uh, and I stayed after because I was going to do some volunteer work at it's a residence for the unhoused. It's a transition type home. It was in Salt Lake, and I didn't want to drive to Ogden, so I stuck around to help to tear down stuff from the convention. And the bishop was there, right, getting her hands dirty and taking stuff down. And we got to, we were taking this, we were doing the same project, taking things down, and we got to chit chat and talk. And I got really interact with her as a person. And I'm like, this is dumb.
Right.
Why am I afraid of being near or working with this person? This is a legitimate, nice person, and I could work with her. And so that's where the fear kind of went away when I realized that we're just two people that, you know, that
Right.
could get along, you know. But yeah, the fear of rejection, that fear that you after getting so many, yeah, you're good. We liked you, but we went with someone else,
Yes.
you know.
But yeah. And obviously it sounds like given the position, you'll be working a lot more with her anyway, just not directly for
Yeah.
her.
Well, and the thing is, the person they chose for her executive assistant is awesome. She's, I mean, I know the individual, um, and it was the right choice, very much the right choice. And so, and what that did was it left left this opening, so it worked out perfectly fine.
Like
Uh,
somebody was making it work out, I assume,
yeah,
is the real bottom line.
I
It
kind of
was
think,
being
yeah, it kind of worked.
coordinated.
Yeah. So, but yeah, my that irrational fear, thankfully, has kind of gone away. Now it's the
Okay.
nerves of okay, we got a
Starting a
lot
new job.
of
Yeah.
stuff. I'm ready to start. Let's go. But I have to wait till January. So
Well, good luck and
thank you.
congratulations again.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Next random person. Who will it be? Dawn.
Yeah. So, are you still going to pursue, becoming a pre or a pre? Are you, or is that something you put on the back burner?
No, so it's still there. So I think this is what if you believe in such things, this job kind of is providential. This is one of those opportunities that aligns really well with it. So uh, I still it takes a while in the Episcopal Church to for these things to happen. Even the way that seminary, like to apply for seminary, they only do it really at the end of the year. They do it once a year where you apply. It's not a rolling enrollment for that kind of thing. So even because I'm in this earlier stage of selection, so it's still like 2 or 3 years out from
Okay.
ordination, so probably 4 years now. Um, so yeah, so this job I'd be in for a while, and the way the seminaries work now, like it would be doing a hybrid one where I would be still living here and working full time, and then I'd fly out to was maybe New York, whatever, wherever the seminary is going to be, because there are a couple of select choices. Fly out for a couple weeks at a time for in-person classes. But yeah, this happens to work really well because now I get to see the inner workings. I get to see behind the curtain, so to speak, of just the administration piece of uh, the way the Episcopal Church works, which I have a pretty good view of, but now I'll be have my fingers in it, I guess. But yeah, so it's I'm still on that track, and the office I'm working for deals directly with that selection. So it kind of goes back to Desiree's question about there's some sacrifice in there, right? So we have to my boss and I have to firewall my process for firewall me from the other part of the selection process so that there's no appearance of impropriety. So we have to do, the good thing is my boss and I both come from a military intelligence background and handling of sensitive information, and we know how to do that, which is good. And so, we've already talked about how to do that, how we're gonna, talk to the bishop about how we're gonna do that. So, um, but yeah, the process will keep going. It'll be just in parallel.
Awesome. No, congratulations. That's awesome. I
Thanks.
know, having been through it all, I know the disappointment, big relief. So, Merry Christmas and God bless.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up. Oh, hold on. Donna, looks like I tried to rename you. I didn't need to rename you. Next up is somebody who you don't know, but she is actually an EFM mentor, Laura. And she knows the inner workings of the Episcopal Church.
I'm sorry. So what am I supposed to do? Sorry, I was having little tech problems.
That's okay. That's
I
okay.
need
If
to
you have
clean
any,
out my browser.
that's okay. If you have any questions for Mo, or you just wish him congratulations or whatever.
Oh.
But you have inner workings of the Episcopal Church, so you actually know more because you're an EFM mentor.
Right, co-mentor. Yes. Congratulations. I think that's exciting. I love our Canon to the Ordinary. Are you going to go to Christmas Eve service where he is presiding? Sorry, trying to get the right word. I'm sorry.
So I am already pre-committed for performing at Good Shepherd.
Okay.
I'll be doing two pieces from Messiah and another piece. But so yeah, no, we're trying to align our schedules. But I officially start in January.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Sorry.
oh no, you're good.
I was going to do it as
You're
a
good.
lead-in. I can meet you there because he is presiding at our church since we don't have a rector.
Oh.
I'm at St. James Episcopal Church in Midvale. So
Nice.
so our paths will cross for a couple different things. So as you
I
get
recognize your
settled in.
name. So I was like trying to remember where I know your name from.
I'm the old white-haired lady. That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like. I'm doing a lot of fun, exciting things. So perseverance. I've been searching for 6 months. I was a product analyst. They changed the title back to business analyst for a fintech company. Loved the job, and have been applying to hundreds of jobs. I've gotten one interview in 6 months. But that's the reason Steve invited me to this a few weeks ago, but I had too many other commitments. Any recommendations on that worked for you to get into the hiring stream?
Oh,
I would love to have had your job, by the way. I don't want it, but I love that man. He's great.
Yeah, right.
And his husband.
Yeah, I honestly I feel very lucky to have it. I think that's like in general when we get a job. I mean, it's thank you for giving me this job. Getting the job. Honestly, it it was every day sitting down looking through the same job boards, the same things, and just applying and applying and applying. And I, it, I don't know. Well, I kind of took something. It's a practice from Steve. I have a little singing bowl.
Oh.
We use it. EFM.
Oh, I have one here.
There we go. You got your singing bowl.
I use it for Conklin.
Right, yes. Sometimes it's just that's taking something to center yourself before you start the drudge of going through all the job descriptions and narrowing it down, and then wondering, should I apply for this job? Because I looked at so many jobs that I was like, I could do that job. I would like that job. It would be interesting. There was one with the Department of Transportation, and I totally geeked out in the interview. I mean, I did. I was just like, because public transport overseas was, I relied on it. It was wonderful. And I was excited about this job, and they're like, people were excited about this. It was really weird. But just finding something to center yourself before you start the search, because
That's a good idea.
it's some days you come up with there not very many positions to apply for. But that thing that can center you and keep you positive as you apply. And then being in this forum, I mean, I couldn't attend every single week, but most weeks, the weeks I could, it helped because you're hearing what everybody else is doing, and having a community of people that are going through the same thing, it makes it feel a lot less lonely. And so you don't get swallowed up in your own, I'm at home applying for jobs all day, right?
Mhm.
You've got people that you can talk to or listen to that are going through it. It does help keep you positive. Hope that helped.
No, that did help. And did you use AI at all? I went to a ton of stuff in the summer, and they told us how we have to redo our resumes, and it's very complex. And then I got some really good sage advice last week, and kind of went back to how I originally do it. But they said, drop in AI, go back to job description, make sure you've got the keywords, make sure it sounds like you, make sure it has actionable results, make sure it doesn't sound like anyone else's, make sure it stands out from anyone's. I usually spend 3 to 4 hours on a resume. But so I feel like I'm doing something wrong after 6 months.
Right? Right? I think, I don't know. I just can imagine most people here would probably say they feel that way sometimes
Same way.
too.
Okay, so it's a common
Yeah.
feeling as far as that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because you're applying, and so AI, so I have used AI. I mean, I feel a little out of touch as I'm learning AI, because it was not something we used in my career, because we had to be very in law enforcement. You have to be so very specific, right? It needs to be the facts as you found them, not the facts as interpreted by somebody else. So using AI to reinterpret what you're writing was just not a thing that we wanted to do. So I'm coming from a culture where we kind of stayed away from that. But I found that at least even if it wasn't the whole document, using it to take a paragraph and make it better.
Better, yeah.
Yeah. And then I have dropped it in my whole resume in, and it's put out some interesting results. Sometimes, yeah, you do need to read it. Read what AI puts out to make sure that it's accurate, and it needs to reflect your personality and reflect who you are and your
Thank
actual
you.
accomplishments.
Yeah. I cannot think anything else. I'm just very happy, excited for you, and
Thanks.
I look forward to seeing good things out of the Dawson office in the future, and
Well, it's
potentially
definitely
working for you with you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh yeah. I'm just a busy
I'll be the
bee.
assistant to the assistant. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. There we go.
I'm just joking.
I just stick with Jobs Team. It like I said, helps. And then there are guest speakers that you're going to hear that give you extra wonderful tips. And I think Steve's got some videos of some of the past speakers that have really really good info and good things. So certainly talk to Steve about some of those, like the little cards that are here's me on a note card. That one, it's a nice one to
okay.
have. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
And good luck to you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, welcome to the group. Yep.
Yes, thank you for that as well. Thank you, Steve, for inviting me. He's like, hey, I could possibly help you after he heard my lament one day.
Thanks, Laura. Next up is Kevin.
Hey Mo, hey, it's been fun
Hey,
being with
Kevin.
you. I appreciated your input and your guidance, just even in the meetings. It's always been great to have you here. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Um, I mean, I think at this point I don't have really any additional questions.
Yeah, no worries.
Again, just congratulations. I'm really happy for you.
Okay.
Thanks. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Kevin. Next up is Steve.
Hi, Charles.
Stan, excuse me. Stan, Steve, whatever.
Stan, Steve, congratulations. You mentioned being the number two guy, and I feel that. And you've had what you said you had like what felt like good interviews, and you still get rejected. And for the last little while for me, I've most of my interviews have been pretty good. Some have been I thought I just nailed it, but I still get rejected. Do you have any, I don't know, further insights or any tips, anything that might help set us apart as far as interviews go?
Yeah, such a good question. You know, you can researching who you're going to interview for helps, but the thing is, you never know what they're thinking going in, right? You don't know if they already have someone in mind.
Yeah.
I know a couple of the positions that I went for, it was clear they had somebody in mind, and they were just going through the motions of an interview. The one with Department of Transportation totally felt like that. It was like they already had an internal hire that they wanted, and it, and they were just surprised that the interview went well, you know. And so, but they were still going to hire the person on the inside. Uh, I know that's not super encouraging, but I think that's kind of the thing about it is the interview that goes well. Is it's the what went well and what made us feel good about it, right? So, and then taking that to the next one. I think that what made my interview with the Diocese of Utah go even better was some of the stuff that I did well at the other interviews. So, like with Department of Transportation, dig, when they mentioned a project or mentioned, that they're working with, this, well, I'm trying to remember a project from them. But anyway, they mentioned a project and I started to do some follow up on, well, what have been their successes and what have been their what have they identified as weaknesses. It seemed it was a good follow up, but it maybe felt a little targeted, right? It may
Mm,
not maybe a little too aggressive and getting in the weeds, so I wasn't as aggressive that way with the diocese. I was like, well, that sounds like super interesting. So what are you hoping to get out of this project? So you kind of gearing it, changing it to still be positive and engaged and letting them then describe more. So I mean, it's kind of taking those good elements and carrying them through, and then yeah, it's just trying to tweak that good from that last interview, and then carrying that forward, then taking some of the things that maybe I could have done a little better, and then bringing that forward. Um, Doing that little bit of reflection on that interview, the past interview, helped a lot. Um, but the other part was just knowing what they actually do. I mean, which I think we all do. We've talked about it here.
yeah.
Um, yeah. If you happen to know who the competition is, that's usually pretty hard, right? We don't, unless we have a real in, and usually that would be a violation of a lot of other HR policies, so they really wouldn't let us know. Um, but yeah, I think just staying engaged, be super interested in what they're doing. Um, But like I said, what I sometimes maybe get a little too excited, and maybe that is a turn off, right? So
Oh,
not sure if
thank you.
that's helpful,
Yeah,
but
that was. Thank you. Awesome.
Thanks, Stan. Next up is Tammy.
congratulations.
Thanks, Sam.
I don't really have anything.
That's all
I'm
good.
bombing my interviews, so
Oh, well, so you say you're bombing them?
mm.
What's happening?
Well, my
I mean, I'm
last
just
one,
curious if we all talk about them.
right, my last one, I turned my phone. I couldn't turn it all the way off because there's some change. So I turned the volume and the everything off. And maybe, I don't know, there were still noises coming. My alarm went off. Then I got Vivint calling me. And then my soon-to-be ex was calling me to see what was wrong with the house, And I'm in this interview and I'm like, oh my crap, what is going on
Oh
here?
no. Oh
So at the
no.
end of the interview, I'm like, this is like an Elaine from Seinfeld moment. And they just laughed at me. And I know I'm not going to get, you know what I mean? So whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to roll with the punches when things go weird. It really is. I had this
Yeah.
one interview with the uh, district attorney's office. Oh golly, it was in April of this year. Anyway, it just was a weird interview. I mean, nice people. Um, but I was so thirsty. I don't know why. I was just so thirsty, and I didn't bring a bottle of water. And so I'm super thirsty. One of the interviewers wouldn't even look at me. The other
No,
interviewer was looking directly at me. And I'm trying to engage with both of them, but I couldn't get the other interviewer to look up. And it was just super awkward. I mean, it still went all right, but it was.
I think it's weird when I've had that several times where they won't look at me and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why are you not looking at me?
Right now. Is there something on my face?
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think that the bad interviews make us so grateful for the good ones. I think that's just the let's just hope this next one is better.
I know. Yeah, true.
Oh, golly. Do you have anything coming up? Sorry, I know it's coming up. That's something Steve will talk about later.
Okay.
Okay. Next up is Tommy.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I don't have any new questions to add that people haven't already asked.
Cool. Well, good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
All right. I don't know if Rick is still there. Rick, are you still there?
Sorry. I have many things going wrong. Fortunately, I don't have an ex calling about the house.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
But my dogs have been going crazy. And let me get back to the screen. First of all, congratulations, Mo, on your position. You seem like an amazing person, and from what I know about you from here, I just wish you the best. I don't really have any questions. Yeah, last week was super rough for me, and so I'll just report on that when I get that opportunity. And my French bulldog, I don't know if you guys know this, but the movie Lilo and Stitch was based on a French bulldog, and that's my bulldog. I should have named him Stitch instead of Winston, because he is just making me absolutely crazy right now. But congratulations, and I wish you the very best. With your background and stuff like that, I just have a lot of respect for you. So,
Thanks.
One thing, Tammy, what Rick shared with me last week, he had an interview that he says it didn't go very well. And what did they do, Rick? They called you back and they scheduled you for the next interview. So you never know when it's going to happen, right?
Well, and then they said, like, we want to talk to you the next day, and then then it's ghosts. Here's Winston, by the way, the monster that he is. He just has just been going crazy, trying to climb on my lap. But yeah, I had, well, I'll give the report, sorry, when you do that. But
Okay,
I just
perfect.
wish you the very best, sir.
Okay.
Thanks. Well, I think that goes to something though. I mean, the one interview I had and the feedback was, well, you are our number two. We really like, but part of it was is that I was coming from the federal system, and I was competing against people who were who had been state, county, and city
Yeah.
law enforcement. So they had built they were in the area and had built basically their bona fides for this area. And so, but the thing is sometimes they want to see how you roll with the punches in the interview.
Yeah.
If when things don't go right, you're like, okay.
That is very true.
Yeah,
I had
it's
one of
interesting.
those and it didn't go right, and they told me no, thank you,
Right. Yeah.
3 times this week. So
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. And I think
nah.
that's what, again, this is where coming to this meeting is beneficial. It helps you because we have a support system, and we have people we're all in the same boat. And it can feel very, very lonely when you're just by yourself at your computer doing this. So,
Oh,
yeah,
so lonely.
yeah, very.
Well, with his background, I think he's out there and he's a duck hunter is what I think he is. He's out in the weeds. That's what I think he is.
I guess I don't know. Do you think this is just not professional? 'Cause this is the background I've been using, and it's not been lucky. It's one of my favorite. I took this when I was out on a walk, and I thought it was really cool, but I don't know if it says I'm a high-level, hardworking software engineer. Maybe I need to put, a picture of servers behind me or something. I don't know.
I guess when we're done here, we'll ask the group. We'll pull the group here in a minute.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we're wrapping up here. All the way from Carolina would be Drew.
Greenville. I've got family in Greenville.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Aunt, uncle, and cousins. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love, yeah, that's cool. Um, yeah, I don't have a whole lot. The only thing I thought of was, um, I understand like we're probably in different fields, but is there anything like technical about the the process of job search that, now that you've gone through it for so long, like is there anything that you wish you had known in the very beginning that, you learned that you know now?
Um, yeah. I will say I am LinkedIn and some of these other platforms. Those I think for certain career fields work really, really well. So you're some of the tech ones, because there's some jobs are just really out there. I wish I knew it. I wish I knew how to leverage that platform better earlier. Because in the beginning, when I first started, I felt I was overwhelmed. I was still working, and trying to wrap up my cases and wrap up everything, uh, and so I was applying for things that I knew were coming up that I really wanted. And then I retired, and I was like, oh. Now I've got to figure out this platform really for sure. I mean, I've been dabbling in that platform for years, but not as a serious job searcher until that couple months before I left my job. And so I wish I knew. I guess I wish I knew how to leverage it more. I wish that I had also done a bit more of a this is really what I want to do. I knew what I wanted to do, but I was so afraid to put a title to it that it made the initial job searching more challenging. So if you know what you really want to do for this career, because I was really doing big career change. I did not want to be in law enforcement. I love law enforcement. I love what I did, but it was time to move on to something else. I wish I had done the more full career transition process to then be able to refine my resume and then again leverage those platforms better. So that kind of goes to the AI question. You know, to use AI properly, it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you tell AI, help me refine my resume, it, it, it doesn't help you if you're not targeted toward a particular set of parameters, right? You want the parameters that are defined by that job description or that career field in, whatever. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
just some
Yeah,
rework.
Steve told me about, I was using a tool that a friend had recommended, and then Steve told me about JobBright AI, JobBright.ai. And so I looked into that, and I actually like that one a lot better when it comes to how it utilizes AI. It's a very transparent way. Like you have your resume in there. I would call it like your base resume, and then depending on the the job requirements and everything, it basically gives you kind of an indication of like, hey, this is where your gaps are between what the job is requiring and what your resume says. Is there anything that isn't in your resume that would apply here? And so sometimes I find something like, oh, wait, that should really be in there. That skill should really be in there. It's not in there. And then what it does is it goes through and it lets you like select like different skills to add, and then it amends different parts. I've had to like be careful because like a couple times it would add a particular skill or a particular like system to a experience line that wasn't accurate. And so that was but that's why I like JobBright, because it allows you to actually, it shows you, it highlights you exactly what it changed in your resume. And then you can actually go in and edit and change and take out some of those things if they got it wrong. But then it saves it for that job rec. And so like even if you don't apply for it right away, like you can go back and pull it, and you can even tell it to regenerate if you want it to. And it'll write a cover letter for you as well. I'm not like, I'm an okay writer, not like the best writer. So starting at least with like something which is that I found that helpful. But I agree with your assessment on LinkedIn. Like I don't know how to use LinkedIn like very effective right now. I feel like I made a post the other day about like looking for new work and I was inundated with like, I think they were bots. I'm fairly certain
Okay,
most of
yeah.
them were. I think maybe one or two weren't because they were carrying on a conversation.
99.99999%.
Yeah.
It's
And so
yeah,
I
so much
just stopped
smart.
responding to
Yeah.
some of them because I'm fairly certain they were bots. And then but I mean, I think out of that post, I did get some actual emails from what LinkedIn at least marked as verified recruiters. So that was helpful. So we'll
Yeah.
see. But yeah, congratulations. So
Thank, so a few months back, we had a speaker that went in and talked about using some features of LinkedIn and some of the other online platforms to identify HR professionals and people that you can use as contacts. And so I would get with Steve and see if we can get that recording, because that was a good one to try to leverage the uh, the power and what's actually there for that platform. Because you're right. I mean, so much that comes from it's bot garbage. And I mean, I got all these like sales job offers things that were not real. I mean, just a lot of weird stuff that had nothing to do with my resume. Well, because it tagged on to something when I was the inside sales rep for Novell back if you anybody knew what Novell was back in the day, long, long ago. Um, yeah, yeah, there you go. I mean, I love working for Novell. It was great. And I loved working in network software. It was fabulous, but it was still a tech company back then that era. And but anyway, they tagged onto that, and then it thought all I want to do is sales, and then no, I haven't done sales in 25 years. So, um, and or network software. So, it was it got a lot of garbage from that stuff. So yeah, but get with Steve on that one where they I can't remember the name of the
If you
speaker,
remember
but
which one it is, let me know because I've got quite a few, but
I know.
if as a guest speaker, I'll look.
I'll look and I'll see what if I took notes. I'll see if I've got notes on it.
It might be the Pat Nielsen one.
Was it? Let me see.
But I have a whole gallery of when I record these, I upload them to YouTube. So
yeah. So it was good. It was good because then, like you said, you went and looking at the company and then identifying who the contacts were and how to get in touch with them to send them a greeting message through LinkedIn that says, "Hey, I am here's me, and I'm interested in such this job at your company. Would love to talk to you about it." And he had a canned message that he would use, and a tailor for each person. But then that just gave us an introduction as part of your contacts. Um, it wasn't particularly helpful for the jobs I was applying for, but for a lot of people's jobs, it really was very relevant. So yeah, very good stuff.
you're right, Jason. It was Pat. I'll pop it in the screen here in a minute. Okay. Anything else, Drew?
Nope.
Sorry, Drew went out.
Okay. All right. I think I got everybody but Kyle. I think if I forgot somebody, please let me know. Kyle?
The only question I sort of thought of as I was listening to everyone, and also I'm new. Hello, so sorry if this is old territory, but because this one seems like it was a stroke of luck. With you had applied for one job, a job you basically never applied for. They were like, "What about this job?" So what I was going to ask is, by what method did you find the original job? Like your personal network? Did you apply through LinkedIn or something like that, or was it, or just you knew somebody and you knew you could go apply?
So I actually went out to the Episcopal Diocese website to look to see what their job openings were. It was, I looked at because my interest was um, in organizations that serve the public. I was looking at their websites, so I did direct website searches to see what they were putting on theirs. I did, I looked at LinkedIn and other like job portal sites. Sometimes their stuff was a lot, especially for those kind of jobs, tended to be out of date because they, unfortunately, usually a lot of the nonprofit folks don't update their stuff on some of these portals, but
Yeah, and I would imagine that this sort of job is the kind of thing where you knew a few places that you would like to work. So you knew, like, because I'm like, where do I want to work? I don't know. Like anywhere that's hiring for the thing I do, like, so then
yeah.
for me, it seems like a job portal is like a good place to look. But depending on the kind of work you want to do, like where you say, hey, I've done one career, I'm ready for a new career. But then the place. My last three last two jobs have been I knew somebody and that's how I found out about the opening. They sent it to me directly and then I applied. So this is the first time I've ever been kind of out in the wind. And I've never been out of work in my life. Like I've never quit a job and not had something else lined up or been let go and had something else. I've never been let go until this time. So for me, this is all very new territory.
Well, I'm with you there because I'm kind of the same way. It's always worked out that a window has always open or been open. There's been something. This is the first time I took a chance. Like I said, I started applying before I retired. I knew I wanted to retire, but from law enforcement. But it's the first time I actually took a chance and leaving without a job in hand, right? I did search, so I knew executive assistant was one of the titles I want. Titles, I know the title is important, but the job description was important. It was one of the things I wanted to do because I know I'm good at it. I mean, I loved doing it at the embassies because it was my title there was assistant attaché, but what was I really? I was the executive assistant to the attaché. I took care of all the nitty-gritty budgets and office stuff and travel plans, and I took care of everything in the office. And I knew I was good at it and I liked it. So I did search for those. And I found places that had executive assistants, but a lot of times people were labeling executive assistant. What they really wanted was a receptionist or a secretary.
Yeah.
That didn't really meet the all the job descriptions of what an executive assistant would do for, a principal. So, um, then I did search by specific company or specific organization. Um, and so it was a lot of mixture of things because that was the thing is when I went back to the same sites, like I searched state of Utah because I was willing to work for the Utah government, and Weber County and Davis County and Salt Lake County, because I've had good experiences working with them on my federal side, um, but um, but yeah, in the end, this one just happened to be I looked on their website and they had it posted, and I did get an email from they came a different way, but it was the same job posting, um, that said, "Hey, if you want to apply, please apply." Um, and so yeah, I kind of heard it from both sides, but
Yeah. I mean, that's all the questions I sort of had,
yeah.
like, without really knowing anyone very well yet.
Okay.
But yeah, stick with it. Stick with it here. I mean, you will. It's good is you can message people here and find out. I'm going to post my contact information, and please don't hesitate to reach out anytime. Um, I'm around. I'll be here. But I put my information in the chat, and I'm happy to be helpful if I can to anybody uh, in the future. But I appreciate this particular forum. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times. It's been a good place to be and to have as a resource.
Mo, will you share one more thing? Will you
Yeah.
share some of what you say law enforcement? I think if everybody is similar to what I think, you're like a police officer, in a badge and a uniform, but that's not really what you did. Could you share a little bit? Because I think you had an amazing life when you did that.
Yeah, so I was a federal special agent for the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. Um, I did a mixture of things. So I worked part-time in counterintelligence. We do law enforcement and counterintelligence. We're kind of a hybrid agency in that way. But I also, for here at Hill Air Force Base, I was the special victims subject matter expert. I was the lead special victims guy there for about 6 years, and love that. Honestly, that was one of the best positions I ever had. I was building coalitions with local law enforcement, and all of our helping agencies like the forensic nurses organizations and any services that provided victim support or support to offenders that needed help, with mental health services or whatever. So lots of good work there. We developed workshops on trauma-informed response. That was one of my primary things was getting trauma-informed response training out to not only leaders within the Air Force, but getting it to every airman, every all the personnel on Hill Air Force Base, so they could help each other, not just through sexual trauma, but just through horrible life stuff. I worked as the assistant attaché at the embassy in Morocco, representing the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. It's part of what they call the Force Protection Detachment Program, we were there for helping, or there to make sure the safety and security of in-transit military forces. I was there for 5.5 years. I ate a lot of food. I love food. Moroccan food was very good. But it was a privilege to work at the embassy for that long. At that point, I was the longest standing American at that embassy, which was kind of fun. I went through 3 ambassadors at that point, which is neat. Um, uh, let's see. Before that, I was a similar job, but I traveled. So um, I traveled Europe and Africa providing the same kind of support. So I would go to the embassies and make sure that all of our in-transit forces had support from the embassies, and then coordinate with local law enforcement to make sure people were safe. And yeah, my last job was in procurement fraud, which sounds incredibly boring to most people, but it's kind of a nerdy numbers game, looking at how people defraud the government and in lots of different ways. So it was a fairly interesting way to end my career with OSI. Just right before that, I was the assistant attaché at the embassy in London. My primary mission there was to establish our office in the embassy. So they wanted me to duplicate what I did in Morocco and get our office up and running and efficient in London. That assignment was cut short due to a family emergency, so I still got the office up and running, so we were good to go. And prior to that, I've done a lot of weirdo things. I was the general manager of costumes at Hale Center Theater Orem for several years. I worked at Novell as an inside sales rep. I covered the southeast of the United States from the headquarters in Orem. Let's see.
And there's a question for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Laura says, do you know Janae
Stone?
Boom.
So I know more of Janae. We met. So as I came in, Janae was moving on. She was going on from being the sapper, and then yeah. So, but yeah, I knew more of her, and so yeah, we kind of passed each other.
Okay.
She was the out.
I just met her through AFCEA, through Armed Forces Communications and Electronics Association. I think I've got that down. I just came on there. I just came on the officers board there, but she works for the president of AFCEA. So.
Well, thanks, Mo. I just wanted people to hear a little bit more about what you did, because you say an officer, and I think that just really shares a greater knowledge of what you did.
Yeah, I mean, some of it was protective services. I mean, I did a lot of weird things. I'm grateful for the career that I had. I mean, I think, to have opportunity to do anything is great. But yeah, I'm grateful for the career that I had. I'm looking forward to this new career. We'll see what happens.
Thank you for coming today. Thank you, everybody. Big round of applause for Mo. And I will see you tonight, Mo.
Yeah.
I'll see you again. All right, I'm going to end this recording. And this is Mo Hatters. Thanks, Mo.